To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
The Haunted Mansion is known around the world for its wonderful special effects that tell a story that just can't be told anywhere else. The stretching room, the ballroom scene, all of it adds to this wonderful ambiance and story that we're being told. But there's one very special effect in the Haunted Mansion that I think is really amazing every time I walk past it, but sometimes it's overlooked. The Hall of Changing Portraits at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World. Now, the idea of the Hall of Changing Portraits for Disney's Haunted Mansion has been around for a long time. When first developing the idea of the haunted house walkthrough attraction at Disneyland, Mark Davis had the idea of portraits whose eyes would follow you as you walked by. Eventually, this transformed into the idea of portraits that would change their appearance as you walked by. This idea is shown by Mark Davis in an episode of Disneyland that describes New Orleans Square.
Mark, I want you to meet Julie Reen. Mark Davis.
Very nice to
Julie is Miss Disneyland Tencennial. And Mark Davis is the master in charge of our House of Illusions, or what do we call it?
A haunted mansion.
Haunted Mansion and Supernatural.
Oh, lots
Can
of
you give her a little
supernatural.
idea what we're going to have in there?
Yes, well, we're doing a lot of portraits that change right in front of your very eyes. And a matter of fact, one of our paintings here is based on Greek mythology. This is Medusa, is a very beautiful girl. She offended the goddess Athena. And as a result, Athena turned her into a gorgon. And as you may know, if you looked at a gorgon would turn you into stone.
Well, we sure don't want that to happen.
Each portrait has its own name and sort of backstory that we're going to go through today. We'll start with April through December, a beautiful young woman who transforms into an ugly old hag as you walk by. She was removed from the mansion in 2005 and replaced with this picture of Master Gracie, although she was featured in a Pirates of the Caribbean performance in 2006. The Flying Dutchman, a picture that transforms from a beautiful sailing vessel to a horrifying ghost ship right before your very eyes. At some point, this portrait was meant to have more than 2 different forms. It was meant to have 3, the third being the most severe. Ghosts were flying out of the ship and towards the viewer. I did feature this art in a thumbnail earlier this month, and I think it's worth saying that this changing portrait may have ties to Captain Gore. Medusa. Mark Davis kind of explained this one for us earlier. A beautiful young woman who transforms into a gorgon, and then into stone herself. Maybe she looked in a mirror or something? The Black Prince is a knight on horseback who transforms into a horrifying skeletal man on a skeletal horse when the lightning flashes. Fun fact, this painting depicts an actual human being that actually existed. The painting shows us Sir Edward of Woodstock, who was known as the Black Prince during the 100-Year War. The werecat is the first in the portrait hallway. It features a woman reclining on a couch who transforms into a cat over time. Anime fans rejoice. When the attraction first opened, the woman was wearing white clothes and transformed into a Black Panther, not the superhero. But when the effect was changed in 2005, they had to change it and reverse it for the effect to work, so the woman now wears dark clothes and transforms into a brighter cat. The Aging Man, or as I referred to it earlier in this video, the portrait of Master Gracie. Now I'm sure we're all familiar with this one, a portrait of a young man who transforms, decays, and then turns into a spooky, scary skeleton as we walk by. At first this picture was meant to just represent a young man, but over time it grew to become Master Gracie. Even Disney has decided to play into this, saying that the portrait is that of Master Gracie. So I guess that's canon now. And those are all the changing portraits that were used in the attractions. I will make a video later on discussing the portraits that were never used, but that's for later on. What is your favorite changing portrait, or which one do you think is the scariest? Let me know down in the comments and I will see you all a little later.